Today I fucked up by having my roommate walk in while I was practicing cowgirl riding. Oof. My roommate told me that she was going to be out of town for a week and would be back on Sunday night. She usually always follows her schedule, and never deviates from it. A week ago, I ordered a dildo that had a suction cup base, and was roughly the size of my boyfriend's. I don't particularly like using my toys when my roomie is home, on the off chance that she somehow hears me or whatever. So this was fucking fantastic and I was ecstatic. My plan was to use the living room space and use one of my smaller tables, so I could sit on it and act like it was my BF. I'm not really experienced in the sex department and I wanted to make a good show for his upcoming birthday, so I was going to practice until she got back. Before I get into the main event, I need to explain the layout of this house. When opening the front door, you walk right into the mudroom, which has a swinging door that used to squeak. We don't wear shoes in the house, only slippers or socks. After leaving the mudroom, you're in the kitchen, and around the corner and across the hall is the living room. Since the swinging door used to squeak, we'd know when someone was here if we heard the noise. However, since we got it fixed, it's silent. Now on to the main event. I had set up the living room, with my small table in the middle, a chair in front of me so I could balance, and my sexy time music on low, with the lights dimmed. Then I pulled out my new toy and I literally smashed that fella on the table and made sure it stuck. Then I got dressed down to what I would be wearing. It was just a long-ass t-shirt that hit my knees, but underneath I had my lingerie. I did this so I would be in the headspace and so I could imagine the upcoming day. At this point I'm on the toy and I had a pretty good groove going and I was thinking, okay, it's not that hard. But my hips were sore, so I grabbed some pillows to support, and then I heard a noise. I fucking froze and turned around, and it was my cute puppa. I shooed him out and continued. Another couple minutes go by and I can hear my dog get the zoomies and playing with her toy, running back and forth with it. Until I realized that how the fuck was she fetching something she can't even throw. I then heard the suitcase rolling from the kitchen to the hallway and I felt my entire body flush and get immediately sweaty and my heart rate skyrocket. I heard the suitcase stop, and when it did I hopped my body off and grabbed the dildo to pull it off, but that fucker didn't budge. I was doing some mad calculations in my mind to try and explain this. Light bulb. My shirt is long enough, my unides are crotchless and she'll never be able to tell. I sat myself right back down, turned the TV on Rick and Morty, put a pillow up on the fucking chair and acted like I had been watching this the entire night. She came in and saw me and asked why I was sitting like that, and I made some bullshit up saying my back hurt and I was just letting it stretch out. She nodded and then plopped her ass on the couch. Now this would have been okay, if it wasn't for the fact that I was sitting on a dildo and leaning forward in a position that was starting to get uncomfortable. We sat there for 2 hours and she never even got up. She told me she came back early since she finished up her work early, and we chatted for a bit until the show ended, and then she picked The Handmaid's Tale. At this point I'm so sore, and by sheer will I'm keeping it together, because this would be incredibly awkward at this point to get up and act normal. The moment comes when she says she's hungry and asks if we want to order in. I reply with gusto and tell her to run upstairs and grab our menu folder in her room. She does, and as soon as she's on the first step up, I pop off this joint and sprint my ass down the hallway to my room and place the table in my closet and get the stubborn dildo off and toss it in my shower. Too long didn't read, tried to practice my cowgirl riding on a dildo, and forced to sit on it for 2 hours, until my roommate left to get our menu folder. Update 1, thanks so much for the lovely gold. It's my first one and it makes me happy. For the record, I am sore, and it's a bit uncomfortable. I haven't told my BF yet since I'm still a bit embarrassed. But I'm planning on telling him on the day. Also, my roommate had no idea, because there's no way she'd pass up to joke about it. Update 2, since it's being asked a lot, the reason I was not in my room was because at the time it was messy. I was rearranging and packing up some of old stuff, so there were boxes and all that jazz. Update, I tried keeping up with all the comments. I give lol, my pupper has been posted in r/or. Truly an impressive feat of endurance. I applaud you. But how did you explain the suddenly missing table? The table belonged in my room. so no big deal. Wait, you didn't think to sit down again with the dildo between your legs, rather than in you? I actually did, oddly enough. But then it would be pushed forward and make an indent in my long shirt, which would be weird looking. She had to know something was up. God, that must have been so awkward. Today I fucked up by swiping on lesbians on Tinder for 2 months. This has been going on for 2 months, and I just found out today. Throwaway account because many know my real account and I don't feel like getting roasted for 3 years about this. So I signed up for Tinder after breaking up with my girlfriend a few months ago. I set up my account, set my interest in women, and started swiping. Now when I signed up for Tinder I linked my Facebook account, and apparently my dumbass 13-year-old self thought it would be funny if I set my gender to woman. I had completely forgot. I'm not a terrible looking guy and have had success on other apps, but I was getting barely any matches and couldn't figure out why. Figured the algorithms were just screwing me. Over the course of the 2 months I would think, wow, short hair must be the new thing, or so many bisexuals on here, but never really thought anything beyond that. Then this morning I woke up to a new match. She said I looked great, to which I replied, thanks, you too. But then she replied with, how long ago did you transition? I thought she was talking about puberty. But she was not. That's when it all came together and I realized I've been swiping on lesbians the entire time. TLDR, my 13-year-old self is an asshole. Edit, I am not 13 years old, that's when I made a Facebook. I am 25. Could be worse, you could have been paying for Tinder Gold for 2 months for no matches. So how long ago did you transition? I'm still working on it. I, male, periodically see matches for other males, who don't seem to be gay, and my search parameters don't even include men. I think they got confused and mixed up what gender they were and what gender they were looking for and clicked self equals woman. I'm always confused when I see this because they must be seeing only men and thinking Tinder is broken. Tinder wouldn't show us somebody that set themselves as a woman and requested to only see women. And apparently my dumbass 13-year-old self thought it would be funny if I set my gender to woman. Maybe this explains the fact that I occasionally see a dude on Tinder despite having it set to only show women. At least you figured out what the problem was though. I've seen so many women with profiles that say they are like 25 but their bio says I'm actually 21. By the way, I don't know why it says 25. Because you linked your Facebook and your age on Facebook is wrong. Was on Tinder as a girl looking for girls once and asked a guy why he was using it, and he had done the same thing. Thanked me for pointing it out. Maybe same person. Today I fucked up by naming my password recovery answer as Dong Schlong. This happened about a week ago. It still gives me shivers. Obviously, I never thought this would happen to me of all people. I spent a lot of money on the App Store and I think they blocked my card, and so I had to call them up to restore my account. A female representative picked up and said she was going to ask a few recovery questions to verify my identity. Even at this point I had no clue what was coming. Until she asked, "What is your most prized possession?" I froze. My head goes blank, not because I forgot what I had written for the answer, but because I knew exactly what I had written. The answers were all the same, all the time. Dong Schlong. I wanted to hang up right then and there, but I knew she was looking at the answer I had written. So, I mustered up the courage and said in a soft voice, Dong Schlong, I'm sorry. You have to speak up, sir, I can't hear you well. Dong Schlong. Like big PP, F-U-C-K, you know Schlong Dong, Dong Schlong, fucking kill me. Dong Schlong. Thank you, sir. I was surprised she didn't crack up or anything and was very professional. I've since changed all my restore passwords to something else than Dong Schlong. Too long didn't read. I wrote my recovery password as Dong Schlong, and I had to confirm it to the customer service rep on the phone that it was indeed Dong Schlong. Edit. Holy mother of Schlong, this blew up. Thank you kind sir/ma'am for the shiny silver. And yes, looking back, I should have definitely owned it, like one of the comments mentioned. But this had never happened to me and I think I just panicked. I'll remember to be confident about my profane recovery names next time. Edit 2. Gold. Platinum. Seriously? Wow, you guys made my day. I'll make sure to keep my shiny medals clean and sparkling smile. I think the FU was not owning it, and being nervous about it and even trying to explain you specifically meant big PP. /r/they knew. She absolutely heard you the first time. She made you repeat it to punish you. Yeah, she knew. That realization came long after I hung up the phone. And she's gonna talk about it. Just FYI, a random phrase is a better security answer than your mother's real maiden name or your first pet's real name or your real high school. All of that can be found easily by snooping your public info and social media. Just, maybe not Dong Schlong. What's your first pet's name? Dong Schlong. Your old school? Dong Schlong. Your city? Dong Schlong. It is what you wrote. I once had a rather expletive-laced password for my computer at work. Needed to have some software installed on a new laptop and the IT guys required my workstation password. They came over, asked me to write down my PW on a piece of paper. Guy picked it up, looked at it and just started laughing his ass off and said ooh. That's a new one. Lol. Edit, it was something along the lines of cock gobbler with a bunch of numbers and symbols. Edit 2, forgot to mention. I have an Amplify Teleport which is like a plug-in portable router that you can plug in anywhere and it'll connect to your router at home. I set the name of the network as Scream Penis for password. Bad IT guy. They should never need to know your password, that's what administrator accounts are for. A guy I used to work with made his router password a bunch of racial epithets, then had to get help from a guy of the specified race. Less cool and more embarrassing than Dong Schlong. At that point you just find the little button to reset factory defaults and start over.